Well, good morning, everyone. I'm David Paul. I'm the Managing Director of VectorVest in the UK. We've are, I think, approaching a bottom in world markets. Whether this bottom is a rally in a bear market, which I suspect, or whether it's a new strong swing up, time will tell. I'm certainly going to assume that it's a rally in the bear market until it proves to the contrary. I've entitled the talk, "When it's time to buy, you won't want to." And that's my observation in that the good trade is always the hard trade, especially if you want to be a relatively aggressive trader. Everybody else is going to be running away when it's time for you to actually step up. So the first chart that I've got is the VectorBest composite of the UK market, and pretty much on both sides of the Atlantic, ladies and gentlemen, from short term to long term, the trends on VectorBest are down, and they have been down for quite a long time. So I've got a view of the US market, which tends to lead. And this is a chart of the VectorVest composite over the last 6 months. And as you can see, the longest term measure of the trend on VectorVest is down. It has been down, apart from a very short spin up, which was now a false signal. It's been down since last November. However, I've drawn in a equidistant channel, which certainly institutional traders use to divine support and resistance levels, and that's pointing to a bottom. And yesterday, in fact, the market respected that bottom, and on the shorter time frame charts, the hourly charts charted a little double bottom at those particular levels, and those levels are sitting down at about 3940 on the S&P 500. Very, very important level. Through that level, there's one hell of a lot of fresh air. Still too early to do anything, but aggressive traders should certainly be getting their watch list ready. I personally will be trading it if it does confirm with a long position in the spread bet on the S&P 500 or the SPX. So the mega oversold condition on VectorVest is given by two proprietary indicators. One's called the buy-sell ratio, which is the number of shares on a buy recommendation on VectorVest divided by the number of shares on a sell recommendation. And this indicator indicates the internal composition of the market. And when the buy-sell ratio is right down on its knees below 0.2, so there's five times more shares on a sell than on a buy, then we should be looking for a market bottom, not buying a market bottom, but looking for a reason, looking for price confirmation of a market bottom. We're there at the moment. In fact, the buy-sell ratio is 0.08. A second timing indicator called the market timing indicator, which looks at three things. It looks at the price of the VectorVest composite, it looks at the momentum of the VectorVest composite, and it looks at the buy-sell ratio and combines those into one single indicator. And when that MTI gets really down on its knees below 0.6, again, we're looking for a reason. We're searching for a major market bottom. We're not buying and hoping. We're looking for a market bottom, and we're waiting for confirmation that that bottom is in. That confirmation hasn't quite arrived yet. That's what the VectorVest composite looks with the two indicators on the chart, and you can see that the buy-sell ratio is 0.06, in fact, and the MTI is 0.39. So we're in mega oversold area here, and with the slightest confirmation, as I say, I shall be taking a spread bet. I think it's a really high probability of moving up towards the top of that channel very fast. Then we'll see. Okay, so on the S&P 500, there could be 300 or 400 points in that particular move. And rallies in bear markets tend to be very satisfying because they happen so darn quickly. Very similar to the previous one we had. So exciting times for aggressive traders. For more conservative traders, the VectorVest trend following indicators have got a lot of work to do to actually show that even the medium-term trend has turned up. So if you are a swing trader, if you are a position trader, then I think there's a little bit of waiting required before the VectorBest signals will give you an entry point. Short-term bottom fishing, people should be getting ready. In the UK, it is my belief that the UK market will follow the American market and follow it very quickly. I'm very interested in Cape Tech at these levels. It's sitting right on support. Had a good rally up last week, has come back and kissed that long-term trend line. As you can see, the green line study above the price is the VectorBest valuations, undervalued. Earnings per share has been growing strongly, and it's on a hold recommendation on VectorBest at the moment. And if that should move to a buy, then I think that there's a high probability of a strong move in Cape Tech. As you can see, as it's pulled back in this sell-off, the ranges are relatively low. It's always a good sign. In the upswing, big ranges. In the downswing that we've had over the last month, very tight ranges. This is Airtel Africa, and folks, in this sell-off, this share hasn't moved. That's a really good sign of strength. And invariably, when the general market rights itself, which it will, sooner or later, that those shares that have outperformed on the way down will be strong outperformers on the way up. So I'm looking forward for a nice move in that. As you can see, undervalued, growing earnings strongly. And the third one is Bloomsbury. Now, Bloomsbury went through a 9-month accumulation pattern. And I call it an accumulation pattern because I haven't shown volume in this chart because it gets cluttered. But all the up weeks, and this is a weekly chart, all the up weeks were accompanied by big volume, and the down weeks were accompanied by smaller volume, which to me is a manifestation of accumulation rather than distribution. The share broke up in very good news during our sell-off of the last month or so. It's pulled back, and it's pulled back on low volume, and it's pulled back in what technicians refer to as a bear flag. It's on a hold recommendation now, and to me, it looks as if that share will move strongly if and when the general market starts to move up. Let me repeat, folks, general market on both sides of the Atlantic is selling off in from short-term trend to long-term trend. The market has fallen to a major support level, especially on the American markets. It's in a mega oversold situation. For those brave souls out there, a couple of days confirmation, and I think we can be rewarded with a very fast move to the top of that channel that I drew. Those of you that are more conservative in nature will be sitting waiting. I'm presently 40% in cash, I'm 40% in shares, 60% in cash in my UK portfolio. The shares that I've got, most of them are on hold recommendations, and they performed reasonably well. And I am a shareholder in Bloomsbury, Airtel, and Cape Tech. So I hope you found that useful. Thanks very much indeed.